Hello students, greetings of the day. I hope you are doing well, have done well in the examinations till now and preparing well for the future examinations. Now the purpose of this video is to help you in day before exam strategy of cost accounting. So here I will help you out in which areas you need to focus more so that it becomes quite comfortable for your examination. Okay, right. So without wasting any further time, let us focus on the strategy. Right. So the entire syllabus is divided into three particular sections that is in front of you. I have not done anything new here. These sections are already given in your institute material, that is CMA material. So first section is introduction, where you have altogether how many chapters? 8 chapters on also. Introduction to cost accounting, material cost, employee cost, direct expenses, overheads, cost accounting standards, cost bookkeeping and cost sheet. And by the side of 2 chapters, I have mentioned T. T means nothing but theoretically important. So introduction to cost accounting and cost accounting standards are theoretically important, right? Next section is about methods, where you have job costing, batch costing, contract costing, process costing, joint and byproducts, operating costing, nothing but your service costing. Next, when it comes to section C, we have techniques, marginal costing, standard costing, budget and budgetary control. Okay, so the entire syllabus is divided into 3 different sections. Now coming back to the question paper, now your entire strategy should depend upon the question paper. Okay, so upon analysis of the previous question papers and whatever the CMA sources that are there, we have found that this is the pattern that the question paper is given in the examination. Okay, 30 marks is MCQ. Now I am concerned about the part B of the question paper, that is 70 marks, which consists of problems as well as theory questions. Okay, right. Now here if you observe, part B starts from 2A, so second question, and ends with 8th question. Okay, so first question is of MCQs and part B starts from second question and ends with 8 questions. Okay, so altogether how many questions you have? 7 questions. Out of these 7 questions, you need to write how many questions? 5. So 5 questions. So 5 into 14s, you will get 5 into 14, you will get 70 marks. So out of 7 questions, you need to write 5. So 2 questions are choice. Now here the tricky point is that the institute, luckily the institute is fixing to a particular pattern here. Now when it comes to question number 2, it has 2 parts, 2A, 2B. Likewise, third question also has 2 parts, 3A, 3B. Fourth question, fifth question also has 2 parts, 4A, 4B, 5A, 5B. Sixth question is not divided into subparts. It's a single question. Okay. When it comes to 7th question, it's again divided into 2 parts, 7A, 7B. When it comes to 8th question, we have 3 parts, 8A, 8B and 8C. Okay, right. When it comes to 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, it is given from section A. It is given from section A. That means what, sir? What is section A? This is section A. Okay. So here we are talking about problems, right? So in 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, 99.99% of time he will give problems only. So which chapters we need to focus here? We are talking about these chapters: material, employee, direct expenses, overheads, cost bookkeeping and cost sheet. Okay, right. When it comes to section B, or when it comes to that is 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, right? From 4A onwards, for 4A, 4B and 5A, they are given from section B, nothing but methods. That means 3 questions will be given from methods. Now these 3 questions will be covered from these 6 chapters, that is job costing, batch costing, contract costing, process costing, joint and byproducts and operating costing. Okay, so 3 questions will be given from, that means 4A, 4B, 5A will be given from these 6 chapters. And next 5B, 6, 7A will be given from section C, that is techniques, that is from these 3 chapters, that is marginal costing, standard costing, budget and budgetary control, right? Next, now coming back to the, so up to 7A we have an idea. Now from what about 7B, sir? 7B is exclusively meant for cost accounting standard. 7B is exclusively meant for cost accounting standard. A theory question will be asked from cost accounting standard for 7 marks. There is no doubt in that regard that 7B is reserved for cost accounting standard. Now, which questions do we or is more likely to be asked in the examination? That I will mention it just now. Okay, 8A, 8B, 8C, 4 marks, 5 marks, 5 marks. Okay, altogether 14 marks. Okay, will be asked from section A again. From which areas? That I will explain. Okay. Now let us stick on to the 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. Okay. Now these 4 are problems. These 4 are problems, right? Now these problems are asked from which chapters, my dear? Altogether you have here 6 chapters. Now from which there is most likely that you will get a problem. Material cost, employee cost, direct expenses, overheads, cost bookkeeping, cost sheet. Must and should, you will get a problem from cost sheet. So start your preparation with cost sheet. So first preference should be your cost sheet. Very easy to prepare, damn sure question. You will feel confident. Okay, you can complete the cost sheet in very less time. So start with cost sheet chapter. Okay, then employee cost. In employee cost, no, coming back to cost sheet, sir, which problems we need to focus on? See, in cost sheet we have hardly 10 problems, right? And if you go through all the 10 problems in CRD and 10 problems or 11 problems given in assignment section, you can cover all the models and you can stand assured that you will be able to answer anything given in the question paper. Okay. So don't take choice when it comes to cost sheet. Go through each and every problem. That is cost sheet. When it comes to material cost, yes, it's a lengthy chapter. Now, which areas we need to focus on? Focus on EOQ, economic order quantity, and stock levels, minimum level, maximum level. Okay. Focus on other things also, but give more importance to these two sections. Okay, you are thorough with that one, then go through the price to ledger. Okay, that is more than sufficient. Now come back to the employee cost chapter. Now these chapters are basic chapters. We have done these chapters at the start of the coaching itself, and moreover we have written number of examinations on these chapters, right? So you should feel confident about these chapters. When it comes to employee cost chapter, focus on plans, standard plans. Okay, I'll say Rowan, Taylor, Merrick, Gantax, okay, all these plans. Okay, please go through. There is one particular problem where all these formulas are covered. You go through the next labor turnover rate, that particular part at the end of the chapter. Okay, focus on that particular areas. Okay, that is more than sufficient. As well as direct expenses, you have only 1 or 2 questions. Do the direct expense also. Together you can complete this one very easily. Okay, stick on to this order itself. Okay, overheads chapter. When it comes to overheads chapters, sir, when it comes to overheads chapter, number of sections in overheads chapters are less, but we find it somewhat confusing. So do one thing. When it comes to overheads chapter, focus on under absorption, over absorption. Okay, how to calculate under absorption of overheads, how to calculate over absorption of overheads, and treatment of it. Okay, there are 2 problems in your material. You can go through that one, and then you can focus on the primary distribution, secondary distribution. Okay, especially simultaneous equation method. Simultaneous equation method. That is secondary distribution, simultaneous equation method. Very, very important. Okay. So focus on that. There is high probability that you may get, if anything the examiner wants to ask from that particular section, he will focus on simultaneous equation method. Okay, so focus on that one. So that is what you will cover in overheads chapter. If you have some more time, then you can go through comprehensive machine hour rate, dual rate, all those things. Okay, but basically you have to focus on these two: under absorption, over absorption, and simultaneous equation method. Okay, and then move on to the comprehensive machine hour rate, direct machine hour rate, and dual machine hour rate, dual rate. Okay, right. Now, cost bookkeeping, most of the students take it as choice, but my advice is that if you are comfortable, go through reconciliation part. Okay, so both financial profit and costing profit will be given how to do the reconciliation. Okay, that thing. Okay, at least you go through that one. And when it comes to in our masterminds material, there are 2 problems, both in integrated as well as in non-integrated system, related to entries. Just go through those entries. Okay, and when I say go through, I'm not expecting you people to do each and every problem. Okay, just go through the model so that you are comfortable with it if it is the same thing is given in the examination. So if you observe carefully, we have covered all the chapters, problematic chapters, or chapters from where problems can be asked in a single go. Okay, it will hardly take 2 or 3 hours, not more than that. Because cost sheet, you are thorough with it, material cost, employee cost, all these things, you will simply go through it. I'm not saying to do each and every problem. Okay, so this should be the order of doing it, cost sheet. Now, introduction to cost accounting, there are some basic questions which are likely to be asked in the examination, and where it will be asked, if asked, sir, from in question 8A, 8B, 8C. Okay. Now, this is also completely theory. These 2 questions are completely theory. 7B is completely from cost accounting standards. Sir, from cost accounting standards, which questions are to be studied? First 3 questions. First question number 1, question number 2, and question number 3. First 3 questions are there. You please be thorough with those questions. And we have given a table also, a list of cost accounting standards. Okay, go through there so that it will be helpful for answering MCQs. Okay, Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, these 3 questions are more than sufficient. If you don't have time to go through all the remaining questions, okay, at least you go through these questions so that you should be able to write something if given in the examination. Because most of the time what we have seen, out of 10 examinations, in 9 examinations, they are asking questions from first 3 questions. Now, 8A, 8B, 8C are also theory questions. It will be asked from any of the 8 chapters. Okay, 1 or 2 questions will be given from the introduction chapter. Remaining things will be asked from either from material or from labor or overheads chapter. Okay, so this is about section A. Now coming back to section B. From section B, we will get 4A, 4B, 5A, right? In section B, straight away you prepare contract costing first. This should be given first importance. In section B, contract costing should be given must and should question. Okay, if you go through the initial 1 or 2 problems also, it will be more than sufficient. Okay, the only thing that you need to focus is on how to calculate the amount of profit, notional profit to be transferred to P&L account. Okay, based on the degree of completion, 1/3, 2/3, or how much, or any estimated profit. Okay, stick on to the basics where you are able to prepare the format, enter the items and amounts, and able to transfer some of the profit to the P&L account depending on the degree of completion. So contract costing is must and should. Okay, and focus on the initial problems. Whatever the problems that you have in MM material, focus on those basic and initial problems. Once the contract costing is completed, then go through process costing. That is the second chapter. In process costing also, no need to go through all the questions, Nana. Initial problems. Initial problems. Initial problems means initial 2 or 3 problems. See, when it comes to process costing, we have basic problems. We have problems with opening stock of, we have problems with closing stock of work in progress, and we have problems with opening and closing stock of work in progress. Okay. Now, my advice is to, when it comes to process costing, focus on basic problems where you don't have any opening and closing stock of work in progress. Am I clear? And then focus on problems which have only closing stock of work in progress. Am I clear, my dear? So, entire chapter is divided into 3. Basic, with closing stock of work in progress, and with both opening and closing stock of work in progress. My advice is to stick on to the basic problems, initial 1 or 2 problems, and then problems with closing stock of work in progress, where you will learn how to prepare equivalent units, etc. That is more than sufficient. Then joint products, byproducts. When it comes to joint products, byproducts, focus on NRV. Focus on NRV and contribution margin method. So you have 4 methods, right? Most important one is NRV method. Okay. And if you have any time, then you can focus on operating costing. Okay. In operating costing also, focus on problems related to toll plaza, transportation. Okay. Right. But contract costing is must and should, because out of these 3 questions, 4A, 4B, 5A, 1 question will be from contract costing, must and should. Okay, remaining 2 can be asked from any of the above chapters. Okay, so it's up to you, Nana. But contract costing is must and should. So after you have completed cost sheet, material cost, employee, overheads, then go for contract costing. If you want to skip cost bookkeeping, you can skip cost bookkeeping also. But my advice is to go through that reconciliation part at least. Because most likely you may get reconciliation part. If you got reconciliation, you should be able to answer it, right? So keep that thing in mind. Now, last part, that is section C, 5B, 6, 7. Now, the 6th question is exclusively meant for marginal costing. Marginal costing. That 6th question, which is given for 14 marks, the entire 14 marks is related to marginal costing. Sir, how to prepare marginal costing, sir? Prepare it from the back. From decision making, limiting factor, indifference point, prepare from the back. If you are comfortable with the basic formulas, prepare from the back. Okay, start with limiting factor, start with decision making, start with shutdown point. Am I clear? Most important is the limiting factor. Okay, so decision making part, whatever is there, that is in marginal costing, that is most important. So that is the way you need to prepare marginal costing. That is very simple, Nana. No need to mess up the preparation when it comes to marginal costing. Start from the back. Okay, now related to standard costing. When it comes to cost accounting, standard costing is quite easy, because you have only 2 variances, right? One is material and the other one is labor. Okay, so you have limited problems when it comes to cost accounting. So if you are following MM material, it will become quite easy for you. So don't take it as choice, right? And 7A is budget and budgetary control. Budget and budgetary control. So what are to be prepared in budget and budgetary control? Cash budgets. Cash budgets. Okay. And then you go through flexible budgets. Flexible budgets. Okay. Flexible budgets means you should be able to prepare budgets at a new capacity level. Okay. 70%, 80% information will be given. They will ask you to prepare budgets at 90% capacity. That is flexible budget. Okay. Cash budgets are very, very important. Cash budgets, sales budgets, these are very, very important. Okay. Then flexible budgets. Okay. So you can understand clearly that if you are thorough with 2 sections, you can easily answer the entire part B part of the question paper. Section A, must and should. You can do it. Now, cost sheet is easy, material labor is easy, right? So section A, you can answer it. Now, section B, section C. In these two, if you are thorough with section C, anyway, you have prepared for management accounting, right? If you are not, then it's up to you to decide whether to go for section B or section C, to which one to be prepared first, okay? So if you're already prepared for preparing for management accounting, then section B becomes quite easy for you. So once you have completed section A, then start preparing section C. Then if you have time, go for section B. Whatever the case may be, there are some chapters that you need to focus. You have to prepare without any fail. What are those chapters? First one is cost sheet. Okay. Second one, straight away, without any hesitation, I will mention contract costing. Contract costing. Then standard costing. Marginal costing. Okay. Budget and budgetary control. Which areas I have already mentioned to you? Budget and budgetary control. Okay. Then you can go for material, labor and overheads. Okay, but whatever the case may be, these are very, very important. These chapters are to be covered without any excuse. The cost sheet, contract costing, standard costing. I'm talking about standard costing in cost accounting, where you have only two variances, material and labor. Okay, marginal costing, that you need to cover it from the end. Am I clear, my dear? From the end, from limiting factor onwards. Okay, please go to last 10 or 15 or 10 problems, more than sufficient. Okay, you can simply revise it orally. You can understand if you have prepared earlier. Budgetary control, I have already said. Cash budget is very, very important. Sales budget is given, very, very important. Functional budgets, no. Sales budget, production budget, very, very important. Then flexible budget. Material, labor, overheads in material, EOQ and stock levels, minimum level, maximum level. When it comes to labor, basic formulas, standard plan formulas and labor turnover rate. Okay, and overheads chapter, simultaneous equation, under absorption, over absorption. These are the areas that you need to prepare. When it comes to cost accounting standards, as I said, question number 1, question number 2, question number 3 are important, and we have given a table to you with a list of cost accounting standards that is important from MCQ point of view. Okay, so if you are thorough with these things, you can easily answer majority of the question paper. Thank you. All the best for your examination.